Today, relations between Russia and the United States are going through a difficult stage. But I would like to emphasize that we don't have any problems with the American people. We are not anti-American. And we hope that our partners, the new administration of the United States of America, will make the right choice to have healthy relations with Russia. We have often told our partners that we want positive cooperation. We want to fight against joint threats together, but unfortunately our words are not being heard. Considering what we've had to deal with in recent years, for example, the construction of the global anti-missile system surrounding Russia with military bases, unrestrained NATO expansion, and other so-called gifts to Russia, we are under the impression that our stamina is being tested. Of course, we will not allow anyone to pull us into an arms race, but we cannot afford not to take this into account in our defense policy. So a number of measures will be taken. In order to counteract, if necessary, the American anti-missile system, a missile complex, Iskander, will be built in the Kaliningrad region. Also from the western region of the country, we'll be carrying out the radio-electronic neutralization of the new American anti-missile bases. The question of the new global security architecture is well overdue. It's very important for us to achieve results in the Euro-Atlantic area, which includes Russia, the European Union and the United States. I put forward an initiative to create an appropriate agreement on European security. A document such as this would allow us to develop the rules of conduct which would be very clear to all. It would stipulate a common approach to conflict resolution and allow all parties involved to flesh out a common stance on arms control instruments. Today, the idea of creating a multipolar international system is more important than ever. It is impossible to solve the issue without a number of measures, including the reform of the leading international institutions and strengthening multilateral diplomacy as a whole. Along with all the interested sides, we will create a truly democratic model of relations, not allowing the domination of one side in any area. Arrogance and the arguments of power are not as convincing and effective as before. It is impossible to rule the world from one capital. The tragedy of South Ossetia is, among other things, a result of the arrogant political course of the American administration and the intolerance of criticism. The Caucasus conflict was used as a pretext for introducing NATO naval ships into the Black Sea and then for forcing American anti-missile systems upon Europe, prompting a response from Russia. I will emphasize again, the decision to force peace on the aggressor and the operation organized by our military were not against Georgia and the Georgian people, but in order to save the citizens of the Republic of South Ossetia and Russian peacekeepers, and to provide for the stable and long-term security of the people in South Ossetia and Abkhazia. And first of all, it was against a repeat of the criminal opportunism of the Tbilisi regime. The Caucasian crisis has shown once again that the use of force by one side in the conflict cannot provide a viable solution. So in accordance with the norms of international law, we will continue to eliminate hotbeds of instability in neighbouring regions. There are things you can't ignore. You have to fight for them and win. It's something dear to you, me, and to all of us. Something we cannot imagine our country without. We have things we can be proud of, things to love, to fight for, and to protect. That's why we won't retreat when it comes to the Caucasus. I think the idea that their own opinion is the only right and uncontestable one, which developed after the collapse of the Soviet Union, led the authorities of the United States to also make some serious mistakes in the economic area. The world financial crisis started as a local disaster, but by having close ties with the markets of all leading economies, and by being the most powerful one, the American economy has dragged all global markets down along with it. By blowing up the money bubble to stimulate its own growth, the United States has not only failed to coordinate its actions with other members of the global market, but has also forgotten about common sense. They didn't listen to warnings, including those coming from us. As a result, they harm themselves and others. The lesson of mistakes proved to all responsible nations that it's time to act. It's time to radically reform the political and economic systems. Russia will insist upon it. We are ready to cooperate with the United States, the EU and all interested parties. We'll do everything to make this world a more just and safe place. Now, when we are implementing long-term development plans in Russia, and in essence we are trying to switch to a new type of economy, we have to deal with a number of very difficult issues. We have to counter the effects of the financial crisis and the hardship of competition, modernize the army, and rule a huge country with its national and cultural complexities. And at the same time, we have to strengthen democratic institutions and sustain stability. These are some of the reasons why I am putting forward two proposals. The first one is to expand the constitutional rights of the Federation Council, and the second proposal is to prolong the term of constitutional powers for the President and the State Duma to 6 and 5 years respectively. But I want to state this clearly. We are not talking about constitutional reform, but making certain corrections, which are very important, but are only adjustments that do not touch on the political and legal essence of the current institutions. By the end of the year, we need to accept a package of laws that form the basis for the creation for one of the leading world financial centers in Russia. And such a center will become the heart of the independent and competitive financial system in Russia. We need to take practical steps to strengthen the ruble as an international currency. And finally, we need to switch to payments in rubles. Unfortunately, we have made the process too long. First of all, it has to do with payments for gas and oil. We need to encourage the distribution of emission securities in rubles, and preferably on the Russian market. The final goal of all these is to make the ruble one of the regional currencies. Sharp political and economic fluctuations, the turbulence of the world economy, and the building up of political military tension shall not serve as a pretext for dismantling democratic institutions